Okay, so we want to study polyforms, but to do so we must have some order. If we try to do it all at once, we would soon lose track of things. A good strategy is to start by classifying the objects we want to study. This is a very popular strategy in science and math. So we classify polyforms first according to the polygon it is made of, and then also according to the number of pieces it includes. There are names for each one of those categories. It's like the name quadrilateral includes all shapes with four sides, but there are different types of quadrilaterals, like squares, rectangles, rhombus, trapezoids, etc. For example, polyforms made out of squares are called polyominoes. Within polyominoes, we actually have different names depending on the number of squares used. Can you guess how many squares make up a domino? I'll give you a few seconds to try to guess. Dominoes are polyforms made of two squares. Don't worry about learning the names. The important thing to keep in mind is that we are going to study polyforms according to their classification. Your first task of the day is to study polyominoes, and keep in mind these are figures made up of a certain number of equally sized squares joined by their sides. The questions we want you to answer are, how many different polyforms can you make with two squares? Which we already said are called dominoes. How many different polyforms can you make with three squares? These are called triominoes. How many different polyforms can you make with four squares? These are called tetrominoes. How many different polyforms can you make with five squares? These are called pentominoes. While working in these questions, keep in mind two side questions. How can you be sure the ones you found are all possible polyforms with that many squares? And if you have two very similar polyominoes of a given size, how can you decide whether they are different or the same? For example, are these two polyforms really the same or are they different? Here's a hint. There is no correct answer to that question. You just have to make sure to have clear rules for deciding and stick to those rules. That is what mathematicians do. You'll want to write down your rules so you remember them. This task is easier if you use the square paper. But for this part, the squares do not need to be precise, so you can just sketch them. When you're done, remember to upload pictures of your work, which in this case will be the different polyominoes you found, and the set of rules you followed to distinguish them. Have fun. If you want, you can color your polyforms so they look more artsy. Be as creative as you want.